Karma says, what goes around is what comes around. We think of time as a straight line with one direction, forward. What if time was not something like a line, but a loop? Past, present, and future could all be happening at the same instant, only to cause or lead to the same events over and over. If that is true, karma and time have no much difference. Recently, an Australian physicist suggested, through mathematical approach, that whatever we change in the past, the universe will change and modify the process of time so that the ultimate events are not changed. Yet, the results may be suggesting that time is a never-ending loop, and by being so, karma becomes a law of time travel. When we say time is a loop, it doesn't mean that once people die, the time loop leads them to be born again. It means time connects every moment of one's life. You were born to die and will die because you were born. The point is, be it the harsh truth, we are not the center of the universe. This theory does not dwell with the surface level human perceptions but boils down deep to the very fabric of nature, which leads us to rethink our very own existence. What is our basic form? In reality, we are just countless atoms making up an object that has intelligence. With this intelligence or consciousness, we are able to keep unity of these individual atoms up until that one day we don't have the sufficient energy to maintain the form. At the dark side, our death is very similar to air diffusing out from a balloon and deflating it over time, like how energy leaves the body after death. So, we are trying to imply that there is a system governing the entire nature. Maybe it has something to do with the unified theory of physics that great minds like Albert Einstein were keen to find. When it comes to karma, people usually believe that your situation was seeded in the past. Like whatever you do now, you will experience its consequences in the future. When we put this as a chart, we can feel there is a gap in the flow of time. There seems to be a missing part between the past and the present. What happened between an action and its consequence? Something must have happened, right? Mostly, people think the missing piece is God. Well, not to take a stand in the existence of God, let's just admit it seems to be an easy solution to an issue that goes as further as the edge of the universe. But isn't that how things are all the time? We settle for a simplified idea which is easier to digest. We tend to fancy what we cannot understand. Even the sun was a god before we discovered it was a star. Well, here, karma fills the gap. The application is very simple and similar to the butterfly effect. Even the smallest and the most insignificant actions are capable of bringing about a huge impact. You reap what you sow. Good actions lead to good consequences, karma's theory. But how it happens is time. When we do something, we start off a motion of actions which keeps continuing until it comes back to you. Well, time could be making sure of that. For example, a lady saves a child from drowning at sea. After several years, the child who grew up to be a man saves an old man from drowning the same way. This old man turns out to be the husband of the lady who once saved the child. So, the motion set by time most likely comes to rest. If that's too complicated to take in, karma played its part will do better. In fact, the story I told you actually happened in someone's life. The lady's husband was saved because she saved the boy. Or was the boy saved so her husband could live? There, you have the basic idea of the causal loop paradox of time travel. Causal loop paradox occurs when an origin of an event or object cannot be found, as past and present are tied in a loop. Past happened because of the future, and future causes the past event. The cycle goes on and on. That's why time travel theorists call it a paradox. We don't know where it starts or ends. This leads us to question if all our lives are predetermined and we are just the pawns playing parts in one huge plan. Free will is ceased to exist. Whatever you choose or do was meant to happen. You did it because you had to. No man can decide his destiny or can run away from it. No man can be freed from the consequences of his actions. As how hopeless it may feel, cheer up, because we do have hope. To this point, we should know how intertwined causal loop, time travel, and karma are. So, is everything really predetermined? Be it karma or the unspoken causality of time travel, when every action is done, we are purposely shifting an equilibrium or affecting the very balance of nature. In order for the equilibrium to return to its initial state, the one who started the flow of consequences must experience the roundup effect of his very own actions. And this is where things get complicated. The effect will lead the person reacting to it, hence starting back the same or a different cycle of actions. It means when you face the consequences of your actions, the way you react to them is going to determine the next part of your life. This is causality that touches time loop idea to its core, and by doing so, explaining what could be the fundamental law of time travel, or in other words, karma.